This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com. Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. This is show number 132. Well, Nick, we saw big gains yesterday, and we're seeing the usual today, right?
Yeah, you're seeing a little bit of an uptick today. It's definitely a more subdued session. Yesterday you had a big rally, but this is typical after that big rally. You get more of a quieter day. Today we actually have the NASDAQ basically flat on the session, so that had a big day yesterday. It was weak on Friday, but today it's kind of flat. But the Russell 2000, again, we talked about that yesterday. That seems to be the standout right now, trading up a little bit over 1%. So very good action there. There's nothing really wrong when the Russell leads because that represents small cap companies in the United States. And when that shows leadership, that's pretty important. So I love when the Russell leads for more upside, but let's see if we could build upon this just simply because we have that election risk still in play. And again, I think you have the vice president presidential debate tomorrow. And then I believe the week after that, we'll have the president debate. So you still could see a lot of whipsaw there. It's going to be choppy going into the election, in my opinion.
You really think that there's any truly undecided people here?
No, I don't. I don't think that's it at all. But what I do believe is that there are a lot of powerful people that don't want this president to win, and they can move money around, and you see that. I see that all the time. I see how money leaves one sector, goes into another sector. Sometimes it just flees and goes somewhere else. So you just have to be aware that these games will get played. It's not the first time I've seen it either. But this year, I think you could see it more so than any other presidential election year.
Do you think they would actually crash the market again to try to get rid of him, or is that beyond?
No.
Is that paranoid?
Yeah, that's paranoid. I think the market's too big overall, but you can have distribution take place in very important areas, right? So just take a look at technology. Technology has been an underperformer right now. We saw that big Friday sell-off. The Russell 2000 though is now taking leadership, and I haven't seen that in a few years. So right now you have the Russell 2000. It's still well below its all-time highs, but on a relative basis, just looking at a daily chart, it's now getting very, very close to its August top. Meanwhile, you have the NASDAQ composite not even close to its September top. So, again, you have to just look at it on that kind of scale. And again, I always like when a Russell is showing leadership. That there's nothing really better, in my opinion.
All right. And yeah, because it's the small stock index. It
yeah,
really
and you got to
yeah.
Sure, and you got to remember, people are not buying the Russell 2000 because they want a dividend, right? Those companies are not giving you or providing a dividend for any investor. So you're going into that purely looking for growth.
All right. So along those lines, let's talk about gold and silver, but especially copper. You've been kind of extremely bullish on.
Yeah, copper continues to look very strong on the chart. I mean, it got parabolic like everything else, and it needed to pull back. But I mean, if you even look at the copper chart, just to look at a daily chart of copper, I mean, we put the highs in basically on the 21st of September, and really just a gradual slight pullback from there. I think copper is ready to scream higher.
Yeah, it's gone just below $3 a pound level, right?
That's right. It's at 296, and the high on it was on the 21st of September was 312. So just think about that. That's a very, very shallow pullback, and that's what you want to see. I'd like to see more of it personally, but I'm in the camp copper's going higher regardless.
And it could just kind of languish here for a month or two and wait till the end of the year. Or you think there's going to be an end of the year rally?
Yeah, I do think there's an end of year rally. In fact, I think it starts around the election, if not even somewhere in that area. So I don't want to give away my timing aspect yet, but I do think there's a big rally on the way.
All right, and that's going to be interesting. How big a rally are we talking? Is it 10, 15, 20%?
Well, no, we don't know. I never know exactly how big it will be right now until you get to the set point, and then you could usually, kind of calculate where it is. But to see the S&P go back up to new all-time highs, I wouldn't rule that out. I think that's going to happen.
Wow. And so your charts for next year, what are you seeing for next year?
Well, next year, I haven't done enough due diligence on the work for next year yet. I'll start that probably sometime around Thanksgiving. I'll start to work on that. But already, the 1 year of a decade is a very choppy year anyway. So if you just go back and look at any past years, you'll know the 0 year. You always got to be careful. This year we had obviously a crash, but the 1 year of a decade is also another year where you got to be a little bit on guard. You could get a lot of choppiness, and there's nothing to say that the markets will end positive.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. All right, I think we'll leave it at that, and make sure you go take a look at Nick's trading record, which is on inthemoneystocks.com, and a lot of other useful info. The Twitter feeds are at ITMS, at Nick Santiago 01, at Kerry Lutz. We welcome your emails with your comments, criticism, feedback, whatever, and the email address is kl@kerrylutz.com. And Nick, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Sounds good, Kerry.
And so concludes another episode of Daily Market Wisdom with Master Trader Nick Santiago. Be sure to go to his website, inthemoneystocks.com. Don't forget the Twitter feeds at ITMS and at Nick Santiago 01.